Hello. So our group today has made a tool called the housing search tool. A lot of problems with websites such as Zillow and other real estate looking up websites is that the user can only input quantitative factors such as price and number of bedrooms to determine what house is most suitable for them. We wanted to look at the qualitative factors and somehow assign values to those and help people look at houses beyond those quantitative factors, and this is where our tool comes in. So if this is our initial home screen where a user can choose a state and a city. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and choose Pennsylvania for the state, and I'm going to go ahead and choose Pittsburgh for the city. And the 3D maps is for the heat maps that are generated in our program, and I have that installed, so I'm going to go ahead and click Start. Now, the first form that comes up is basically allows the user to choose up to 5 factors that are qualitative that will help them decide what neighborhood they want to live in. So for me, for example, if you choose age of population, it shows a drop-down list of what group they prefer for the age of population. So let's say I go to 20 to 34, and there's also a weight bar on the right, which I'll get to in a second. So if I choose 5 factors that I think are really important to me, I get sort of an output like this. And I cannot choose more than 5 because otherwise it gives me an error message, therefore making sure that the user stays within the constraint. And the weight bars are there to assign value to how important a factor is. So for example, let's say education level for me is the most important thing, so I'm going to drive it up to 45. I'm going to drive these up a little lower, and I'm going to drive these a little lower. I'm not really too important about that, so I'm going to drive these up a little bit. So on the bottom right, there's a total weight text box that basically shows the total summation of all the weights, and this weight cannot exceed 100, and it throws an error message, therefore making sure that the user stays within that constraint. Now if I click Next, our VBA program generates this output, which basically has the top 3 neighborhoods and a bunch of other stuff. So on the top, we have the 5 factors that the user selected. Below that, there are buttons for different heat maps, which I'll get into in a second. In the summary for neighborhoods output box, we have the 5 factors on the side as well as the sub-factors that we chose. We have the 3 neighborhoods that best relate to these 5 factors according to the weight values that we chose in the previous user form. So Highland Park, Point Breeze North, and Hayes are the 3 best neighborhoods considering the age of population, education level, terrain preference, use of land, age of house were the 5 factors that I chose. If the user wants to see what values there were for each one of them, these are the sort of values under each of the neighborhoods. Now if they scroll, there are buttons on the bottom which says show me the result on Zillow. If they click on that, it's a link that takes them to the Zillow website for that neighborhood and allows the user to have quantitative manipulation to find the houses that best match their preferences. Now, if we scroll down, you have the nearby schools that are available in each neighborhood. So for example, the Highland Park neighborhood has these 3 schools available for them, and the user can click on one of the 3 links on the side to show them the links. Now, if you scroll back up and you go on heat maps for factors, this allows the user to jump into the heat maps and heat map manipulation. So if I go to 3D map and do open 3D map and do power map by factors, it opens up this output. This output is basically available to all of the users, and they can choose whichever factor they want to see the heat map for. So for example, age of population 35 to 59, the heat map looks like this. Allows the user for real-time manipulation, allows them to see the values as well as visualize the data. And once they are done manipulating the data, they can go back into our program, hit return, and they go back to the output. Bottom line, we wanted to provide an application that allowed people to look at the qualitative factors instead of the quantitative. There's a lot of room for our program to go, but we believe that this is the first step we could take in order to provide people that interface. So thank you.